Thank you for listening. This is the Wyoming Photographic Podcast, all things photography from the state of Wyoming, featuring Wyoming-based photographers as well as photographers who travel from all over the world to photograph this wonderful state. I am your host, Jeff Futter, and we have an amazing show in store for you. Thank you for listening. We've got Eliza Ortiz from Riverton, Wyoming with us. Eliza, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Eliza Ortiz. I'm originally from Colorado, but I moved to Wyoming about 6 years ago. I am 23 years old, and my experience level with photography is about like a little over a year.
That's great. I'm glad you could join the photography community.
Yeah, it's been very fun and interesting along the ways.
What are some of your favorite places to go to take pictures?
So my favorite place would probably be Crowheart, Wyoming. That's probably like my top one that I like to go places to go. So, I also like to do here in Riverton. I like to go out to Bass Lake. It has a very pretty, mountainsides. So those are my top two places. But I hope to visit more places around Wyoming soon.
Bass Lake is pretty. So is that loop up past Boyce, I love that loop.
Yeah, it really is.
Where do you get your inspiration from?
So I would say my inspiration comes from probably Isaac Spotter. A lot of people probably know him from like his viral videos on TikTok and stuff. He's a wildlife photographer, so he's really like he's one of the reasons why I joined photography and doing what I do because he just has amazing wildlife photography out there.
What are your biggest concerns and fears prior to a photo session, and how do you mitigate them?
I would say my biggest fears would probably be like if they like me, say I've never met them prior to it, like met someone prior to a photo session. So it'd be like if they like me and probably like lighting settings and stuff on the camera. I just want to make sure everything's perfect and everyone's like on the right page.
Absolutely. Which social media platforms do you prefer for displaying your photos?
So I prefer Facebook. I'm trying to grow my Instagram right now, and sometimes I'll use TikTok, but mostly Facebook is where I go to for my social media front.
What has been your favorite and your absolutely least favorite photo job so far?
So I would say my least favorite photo job would be, I don't know. I mean, I don't really have like one that I don't like haven't done that I don't like, but I would say like my biggest failure would be I did my first wedding over the summer. And oh my gosh, it was hectic. It was actually up in Crowheart. And I was an hour late. I got lost to where this cabin and stuff was and had no service. So I had no way of figuring my way around or what was going on. So luckily, the brother of the bride came down and helped me out and showed me where it was, and they were so nice and understanding about it. So, but that would probably be like my biggest fail. So I would say before, if I do that ever again, I would like to go check out the place before I go up there. So
Yep.
I kind of know. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I've been in that situation before.
Yeah, it was definitely something. I was so nervous. I was in tears and I was just like, oh my gosh, I just need to get there. I don't want to ruin this bride's days. Oh yeah, it was pretty bad, but the aftermath was good and everyone was in good spirits after I left. So,
If you could go anywhere in the world to shoot, where would it be and why?
um anywhere in the world. I don't know about anywhere in the world, but I would say I really want to get down to Yellowstone and shoot over there. With the 6 years I've lived in Wyoming, I've never been to Yellowstone yet. So that's like probably one place that's like on my mind for right now. But anywhere in the world, I mean, geez, there's probably so many places in the world that are so beautiful to shoot.
Yeah. I've lived here about 11 years, and I've been to Yellowstone probably 5 times in my life. Three of those
Oh,
times were before I moved to Wyoming. So
yeah. Well, that's Wyoming's main attraction, isn't it?
it is. And I just somehow never find the time to get up there. Uh,
Yeah, I know.
to take my kids. I mean, it's only a 4 hour drive, so why not?
Yeah. Are
Yeah.
you are you in Riverton or where?
I'm in Riverton.
Oh, awesome. Okay. So we're in the same vicinity then. That's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always nice to meet locals.
It is, yeah.
Among all the photo gear you've ever purchased, is there anything that you wish that you just never bought and why?
No, so like I said, I started out about over a year ago. So I mean, I don't have like a whole bunch of stuff. I literally am still like shooting with like my beginner camera and so everything that I've kind of bought I use. There hasn't really been anything that's like I don't really use. So,
What's your favorite camera brand so far?
well, so what I use a Canon T7, Rebel T7, but I mean I love the Canon. I haven't really experienced like with any other kind of camera, but what I see from like the Nictins or however you pronounce it, uh those I really like the way that those cameras capture stuff.
Absolutely. What has been your favorite photo trip of all time?
Um, Probably going back to Crowheart, even though it was a disaster and stuff, that was very fun and it's just like completely, it's very beautiful up there.
So, if you won the lottery tomorrow, what camera gear would you spend it on?
So I would probably spend it on, I would get the Canon probably, okay, so if I won the lottery, I would probably get a brand new camera and probably get the most expensive lens I could find. Because
Uh,
those lenses, I mean, man, they run so high with money and everything. It's crazy.
Especially if you look at like the Leica lenses or the Hasselblad lenses, they're
Yeah.
in the tens of thousands of dollars.
That yeah, exactly. Like $10,000 and up.
Do you have any advice for aspiring photographers out there?
I would say if you love to do pictures and you want to be a photographer, get yourself a camera, to start out with and take that camera with you everywhere and just whatever your eyes see that looks awesome, capture that with your camera and just do it every day, practice, study, especially if you're like coming up and you're just starting photography. I'd definitely say study, study, study because manual mode to me is probably like the best mode to shoot on. And with that, I just kind of taught myself how to do by studying and reading stuff online and YouTube videos. So,
Feel like an old guy talking about, yeah, my first camera, I had to set everything manually on. That's the case.
yeah.
So, how do you convey mood in your photos?
How I would convey mood is I usually with my editing and stuff, that's how I kind of do it. But for like so if I'm just like shooting like landscape or like something that's just outdoorsy or wildlife, I would say like more with like my edits and stuff, that's how I would convey the mood. But then if I'm doing portraits and stuff, I just tell them like just be yourself, don't be scared, just be who you are. And with that and editing, I would say that's how I convey my moods through my photos.
What do you think the photography industry will look like in 5 years?
In 5 years, I would say that I would say it'd be the same. Now I know with like AI and stuff, that's like a big thing, and you can like practically make your own pictures just off of, you know, a computer or a phone or whatever like that. But in a way, I don't think photography would ever go away just because of the memories that people like to have, especially for like people that want family pictures and stuff like that. That's like a memory that they get to go to together. Now, if you're doing like AI or anything like that, you don't get that. So I think that it won't take too much a toll, but who knows? Only the future will tell.
So in other words, they like to have the experience of going out and getting their picture taken.
Yeah. Yeah, and creating their memory with either themselves or their family or with their wedding photos or you know.
How did you get so good at photography?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm that great,
I
but
looked at your pictures; they're pretty good.
yeah. Well, I really just, from a young kid, I like taking pictures. I always was on my phone taking pictures of myself or either like the sky, or even other people. So I've kind of just been that photo taker type of person. So eventually my mom, she passed away in 2020. So once that, a lot of things changed for me. So like my outlook on life and stuff. And I was like, I want to do something that I love to do. It may not be like a full-time thing, but just something to do, to go out and do and get things off my mind. So I just kind of started there and like I said, just studied my camera and edits and everything like that. And, I'm still learning more and more every day about photography.
What are typically your favorite settings?
So I would say I usually run an iOS of 200 and then I run just that and I just make sure like my shutter's good, everything's good. I'm still learning like kind of what to do. I kind of just get out there in the sun and I'll just like mess with it for a little bit and really just run whatever I feel like looks good for that day or time.
What tools do you use for post processing, and what does your post processing workflow typically look like?
So I use Lightroom. Now I know that has a lot of I see and I'm on a bunch of photography groups and I see a lot of people go back and forth like, oh, you shouldn't use Lightroom or use Lightroom. So that's what I usually do is I will use Lightroom and that's where I process all my photos and everything else with edits and everything.
To be honest, I'm still learning Photoshop.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not very good at it. I use Lightroom for almost everything, and then if
Yeah.
there's anything special that needs done, I go into Photoshop and then find some YouTube videos to teach me how to do whatever I'm trying to do. But
Yeah.
I'm still learning it.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's just like it's so learning and like the Photoshop I haven't even dipped my hands into yet because it just scares me and I know that I'll get there, but I just want to take it one step at a time and like not override everything at once.
What is the most important lesson you've learned over your photography career?
Um, my most important lesson would probably, I don't know. My important lesson would probably be making sure you go and check out a place before you go out there with no service. But I think everything just like goes good. I haven't really ran into like many of the problems or anything like that.
Oh, other than your amazing work, why do you think people go to you to be their photographer?
Man, I don't know. I guess I get lucky. I haven't had a lot of like sessions with people. I've had a couple here and there, but I've noticed that more people are starting to book with me. So maybe just how I set my things up, my edits and stuff like that, they're attracted to it. I try to express my personality as much as I can over like online and stuff like that. So people kind of like know kind of be like, oh yeah, I know her even though I don't know her. So I kind of just try to keep an open mind and so that they can feel comfortable messaging me. So
Do you prefer any of your images in black and white?
yeah, so what I've noticed actually is for me, I love black and white, but what I've noticed for me is people that I do sessions with, they also love black and white. I get people that are like, "Hey, do you mind throwing a couple black and white pictures in there? We love black and white." And I'm totally down for that because black and white, I love black and white or color, but I feel like a lot of people love that black and white feel.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of like an old time feel and people just like it. So that's one thing I've noticed, definitely.
What does your booking process usually look like?
So my booking process right now, I'm not like a photographer that's booked out, clear out, or anything like that. But usually I'll just have someone message me and we will figure out times that work best for them and for me and book, and that's it. I don't do like down like you have to have a pay down for a session or like that. And so far I've had great luck with that. I haven't had anybody like cancel for a session on the day of or anything like that. So I've gotten pretty lucky with that.
Good. Well, where can listeners go to find your work online?
So you could go to Everything Wild Photography on Facebook, and then I have my Instagram and everything linked there. So from there, I have a website that I'm still in the midst of setting up. It's set up, but there's still stuff that needs to be added. But if you go to Everything Wild Photography on Facebook, that is where you can find all my socials.
Well, it was great having you on the show today.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. This was a great experience. I was a little nervous because I've never done something like this, but it was a great time, and I'm glad that we got to chat.
This has been the Wyoming Photographic Podcast, all things photography in the state of Wyoming. Thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.